Today we're going to talk about mistakes that can be made when you're using intermittent fasting. So I have used intermittent fasting as a tool to help me through this menopause journey for the last more than 5 years now, maybe closer to 5.5 years. And it is an incredible tool when we're in menopause because it helps us keep our insulin low, it helps us stabilize our blood sugars, it also just helps us control our calorie intake. Like, in all honesty, generally we just don't need to eat as much food as we used to, so it just means the eating window is smaller. And that certainly serves me well, because if I was allowed to, I would just eat all day. So being able to close the eating window allows me to be more flexible with my food, but I tend to make better choices. So it helps me keep myself on track. And to be quite honest, I use intermittent fasting and the drinkable ketones together to help me lose the belly fat that kind of came out of nowhere when menopause struck. So that was definitely helpful, and I know why that works, because it helps keep the insulin low, and insulin is the fat storage hormone, and when we're spiking our insulin all the time, that is what is going to cause this extra belly fat that comes out of nowhere. In all honesty, I have changed my food as well. I talk a lot about that. So there's not just one thing, but intermittent fasting with the amazing naturally fermented ketones, and then changing to like a low carb diet or nutrition plan has definitely been the thing that has served me the best. And I actually will add prioritizing protein as well. So I will just say, if you have some issues or you are struggling with food or knowing what to eat, how much to eat, that definitely comes into play. So I'm the person for the job there. I can definitely help you. So please comment yes if you need help with knowing what to eat through this stage, because changing that can really set you up for success. So today we're going to talk about some of the mistakes that can be made when we're intermittent fasting, and how to overcome those. So the first thing, which sounds, well, look, in all honesty, I help people with their food. And so just about everyone, not just about everyone, but a lot of people struggle with this one. And it is eating too little, like not eating enough. And generally as women, I think we fall into this trap because we get this menopausal belly fat, and next minute we're like, right, I need to get rid of it. I'm just not going to eat as much. But what happens is when we do that, we actually make our blood sugar unstable. We actually end up in our body is like thinking that it's not having enough energy, so then the cravings kick in. So what often will happen, and I have this conversation often, is that someone starts the day off, they're like, I'm not going to eat as much today, so they eat less, and they do a really good job until about 3 o'clock, and then their blood sugar goes crazy, the cravings kick in, and then they go and eat everything in sight. And so the day gets wrecked, and then that cycle starts again. And what happens is the body is never in homeostasis, which means it's never feeling safe and secure, because for the first half of the day, it's actually underfueled. So it's not getting enough energy. And so that affects everything, how you think, how you feel, your hunger hormones, your menopause hormones, everything. It affects everything. And then the cravings kick in, because our bodies are actually really smart, and they're like, we need energy, like ASAP. And then you have the cravings, and then the cravings can't be satisfied because your body is trying to get so much energy in. So we have this catch-22 that goes on. So it's really important, if you start intermittent fasting, to make sure you're eating the amount of calories that is necessary for you to function properly. That means everything is taken care of. We call it low energy availability in nutrition, and that is what happens when you are under eating, and that really plays havoc. So that's the first thing. Make sure you're eating enough, and make sure it's good food. Make sure it is high in protein, and lots of nutrient dense vegetables. Really make sure it's good quality food. The next thing is not drinking enough water. Like, you'll hear me talk about water a lot because water is so important, but it's really often missed. And I can't believe how many people, when I'm working with them, just find it really hard to drink enough water. Now, I get it. Sometimes it's to do with your job, and you may be like, I have a nurse that I'm working with at the moment, and she's just so busy. She just finds it hard to drink because she's in surgeries and things like this. So you have to be able to biohack these areas if your job is difficult. But really aiming for like 2.5 to 3 liters of water a day is going to make a big difference. And it's going to make a big difference to your whole health journey. The next thing with intermittent fasting that can be problematic is just being inconsistent. People say to me all the time, oh, I tried it. Listen, if you are my age, I'm 49, and you're starting intermittent fasting, this might be the first time that your body has ever fasted. And so it's not used to it. So don't expect that to just be an easy journey. Your body is going to maybe give you some notifications that it's not happy about it. And there's some hacks and things you can do, like the ketones I talked about. They are an amazing tool to help with intermittent fasting. The reason I talk about them is because I needed to use them myself. I still do use them, but they made the whole intermittent fasting journey so much easier. The next thing that is it's a mistake that people make without knowing they're making the mistake, is that they break their fast by accident. So when you're intermittent fasting, you have gone through the night, slept, woken up in the morning, you're in a fat burning zone. So when you then don't give your body food, you're still in a fat burning zone. I talk about it like being a switch in the body. So you're either in a fat burning zone or you're using glucose for fuel. So when we're in a fat burning zone, we need to consume pretty much nothing that's going to spike our insulin. As soon as we spike our insulin, we flick the switch from fat burning and it goes to glucose. So anything that has so I guess I should talk about what you can eat. Anything that's going to spike your insulin is going to knock you out of your fast. So if you put milk in your coffee, you are basically flicking the switch. If you put milk in your tea, you're flicking the switch. If you obviously consume anything that has going to spike your insulin, like protein powder, it's going to spike your insulin. So you can have water, obviously, you can have black tea or coffee, you can have herbal tea, you can make a keto coffee, which is like a fat coffee. So it doesn't use milk, it uses a bulletproof style coffee. We actually have a product called Keto Cream that we use to make our keto coffees, and that doesn't break your fast. You can obviously drink ketones, and that's about it. So you really can't have anything else because it's going to knock you out of that fat burning zone. So the next mistake that happens is people think that because they've intermittent fasted, they can eat whatever the heck they want when they start eating again. So I'm a nutritionist, and I'm going to tell you straight up that you cannot do that. It's not like you hear me talk about calories in, calories out. And yes, that's the case. I'm never going to tell you can eat junk food. It's just not going to serve you. It doesn't have the nutrients to sustain your body. We need lots of vitamins and minerals and different things in our body to live healthy lives, and you're not going to get that from junk food. So when you eat your food, make sure it's good quality, whole food, prioritize protein, lots of fruit and vegetables, not necessarily a lot of fruit, but a lot of vegetables, high dense nutrient food that is going to serve you well. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is a mistake that can be made is just being too rigid when you start. If you are like me and you struggle with intermittent fasting when you start, you might have to do what I did and just creep the increments out slowly. For me, my body was in a little bit of shock when I started fasting, so I needed the ketones to help me, and I needed to just gradually move the window out as I could manage it. So don't feel like you have to quickly jump to 16 hours of fasting. You might have to, just take it nice and slowly. And this is where having someone to help you can be really beneficial. But anyway, I wanted to share those tips with you. Obviously, I get asked a lot about intermittent fasting because it's a tool that is really, I think, has served me really well in this menopause journey. And I definitely help other people try it out. So if you are intermittent fasting, I would love to know. Drop in the comments if you are. And if you have any questions, please ask. If you have a friend or someone you know journeying menopause that could do with this information, please tag them or share it with them. And I would love it if you subscribed. It just helps other people find this information. And I just truly believe we're here to thrive in this menopause journey. So we can only do that when we share our information around with other people. So by subscribing, that allows other people to find this, and if you share it, that makes it even more powerful. So I thank you in advance. I hope this has been helpful. Drop a thumbs up if it has, and I will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.